Alright, hello everyone. I'm UnsungNPC here with the final Pillars of Eternity 1 class guide. It's pretty late. I had vacation and thought I could get it done before then and could not. So here we are now. This is the last class, the Wizard. Alright. The Wizard is kind of fun. I feel like Pillars of Eternity doesn't have as many spells as most games do. I do like the Grimoire versatility with spells a lot, though. It's you know, it is what it is. I like it better as in Pillars of Eternity 2 with like multi-classing. I'm not a big fan of it in Pillars of Eternity 1, to be honest. I mean, they come in clutch with a lot of really nice, nifty spells. But I find that the Druid, Priest, and Cypher are all way more useful than the Wizard is. But that's just my opinion. Alright, Endurance, very low. Health, very low. Accuracy, very low. Deflection, very low. +2 to lore, +1 to mechanics. They get spells, and they start out with Arcane Assault, which is just a small area attack, very small area attack, that does raw damage that they use like a number of times per encounter. Alright? So first, we're going to kind of go over talents and special abilities. Alright? So you got Arcane Assault, which I already went over, 2 per encounter, raw damage, small AoE kind of thing. Can also leave them dazed, which is cool. You've got Grimoire Slam. Allows the wizard to smash an enemy with a Grimoire, energized with spiritual energy. It causes large damage and it knocks the target back. I think that's the big thing, is like if your wizard gets an enemy close to them, which you don't want to have happen, you can just smack them away. I feel like there's better ways of dealing with that, better defensive spells to cover that, so I've never taken Grimoire Slam, and I don't feel the need to, especially since it's only like once per encounter. Like, if I could use it a number of times, then maybe it would be worth it, but yeah. Alright. Hang on. Okay. Talents. You've got Arcane Veil, which is 2 per rest. It creates a protective shield of magic, which dramatically boosts your wizard's deflection. That's a really good defensive ability to take for those situations where you get caught in a sticky situation. You've got Hardened Veil, which strengthens the Arcane Veil's deflection bonus, which is really nice. You've got Lesser Invulnerability Spell Heuristics. Modifies Spirit Shield, Bulwark against the elements, Mirrored Image, Displaced Image. Decreases the casting time of those spells. Okay, that's really nice. Those are all really good defensive spells to use. So like being able to cast those more quickly is a really, really nice ability. I don't think I've ever really looked at that. I feel like I should. I feel like you all should. Then we have Greater, which decreases the casting time of Flame Shield, Iron Skin, Minor Arcane Reflection, Safeguard, and Arcane Reflection. I definitely haven't used that one, and that seems dope. I don't know how I've missed those. I don't know. Penetrating Blast. It concentrates the power of blasts, negating some of the target's damage reduction. So just like your standard attack. Not the Arcane Assault, but just like your standard attack. Just gets more powerful. Okay. Alright, spells. Here's your spell progression. So 2 first level spells per rest, then 3, then 4-2, 4-3, 4-4-2. So eventually you'll have 4, and then 3 fourth, and then we go up to like level 16 in this game. So just imagine that for higher level spells. And we also have, I think, 7th and 8th level spells now. Maybe 9th, I don't know. So all of this is increased now. But we're gonna go over some of these spells here. All right, so level 1. I'm gonna kind of wizards get to do the. So I think wizards get the spell mastery thing as well, where they have ones you can use per encounter. You can also take talents to increase the amount of spell slots you get for each level of spell. So if you want another use of first level spells, another use of second, third, fourth, whatever, talents for those exist as well. So be mindful of that. Let's go over level 1. I want to kind of talk about the spells I like and the spells that I think are kind of useless. But everyone's allowed to make their own decision. Level 1, Chill Fog. I love Chill Fog. It does freeze damage and blinds people in an area. This can affect your own people, so be careful of that. But it's really good for like dealing with archers and stuff because they'll also have low fortitude anyway, most likely. So getting to take down those archers or blind them, render them useless until you can deal with them is a really, really nice thing. I always take Chill Fog with my wizard companion. I just think it's a really great spell. We've got Ghost Blades. Cast a field of unearthly blades into existence, inflicting pierce damage and a hobbled affliction upon the area. So, Ghost Blades are cool. I don't really ever use wizards as damage dealers because, 1, the wizard companion doesn't have good might, so the damage isn't going to be good. And 2, even if I made my own wizard, I prefer high intelligence for bigger duration, bigger AoE, that kind of stuff, and higher dexterity so that I can cast faster. So I usually just focus on AoE spells that will, or AoE or single target spells that kind of just like, debuff people, kind of do some crowd control situation. I don't really mess with damage stuff. So I haven't really used Ghost Blades, but Hobbled is a nice affliction to do, especially if you have a rogue in your party. Eldritch Aim grants the caster accuracy. I haven't ever done that before either because I focus on AoE spells mainly, so I don't really have to worry about it. Also, I usually make high perception characters for myself. Calicoth's Sunless Grasp. This one's great. It does freeze damage. And it also reduces their accuracy. So if you've got like one archer or one spellcaster kind of, pounding you guys, you can use this and deal with it. Thrust of Tattered Veils. This is good for disrupting enemy spellcasters. The damage is minimal, but it's a good, like, almost automatic interrupt. Which can come in handy because some spellcasters in this game will take you out. And you've got Fan of Flames, which is like your Burning Hands thing. So there's that. Okay. We've still got some more level 1. These all level 1, right? Yeah. Okay. Wizard's Double. Super great spell. Creates a duplicate of the caster to distract enemies. So that's a really great spell. It just gives you more deflection, basically. But it's a good one. It's a good one until you get Mirror Image, and then Mirror Image is the way to go. Council Hot's Parasitic Staff. If you're a damage-dealing wizard, this is the spell for you. It creates a glowing quarterstaff that you can use, and you sap endurance out of people when you hit them. So this is great for damage-dealing wizards, for sure. Archimir's Dazzling Lights. I love this one. It just kind of dazes everyone and decreases their will. So it's a really nice little faux AoE to kind of disable some enemies there. Fleet Feet gives you move speed and defense for disengaging. This one's good if your wizard gets in a tricky situation. You can just cast it and be like, I'm out of there. It's kind of like Expeditious Retreat in Pathfinder. Spirit Shield is an awesome spell. Gives you damage reduction and concentration. It's just great to have all the time. Minoleta's Minor Missiles. Even though I don't focus on damage dealing spells, I always take the different Minoleta's missile spells at different levels because they're kind of like magic missile things. They hit pretty much all of the time, and they do pretty okay damage. So I enjoy them. Slicken, you're a typical grease spell. Great one. Make them fall prone. Jolting Touch is a good one if you do a melee damage dealing, pair it with the parasitic staff. So you've got the staff, then occasionally just use Jolting Touch kind of thing. It'll be a good combo. Level 2, Fetid Caress. I love the name of this spell. Fetid Caress. Oh, great name. It's an AoE that does paralyze and sickens people, which is a great combo there. Paralyze and sickened are awesome. Very good. Merciless Gaze, 10% of your hits converted to crits. Also good for a damage dealer, like I said. Miasma of Dull-Mindedness, foe AoE that decreases perception, intellect, and resolve. So very good AoE debuff there, especially if you're fighting like casters or anyone that is gonna try to go against more of your will spells. Infuse the Vital Essence gives you max endurance and max health. Always good in a pinch. All right. Oh, we got a lot. Curse of Blackened Sight. Blinds the enemy. There you go. Combusting Wounds does burn damage over time when hit. That's a good one for damage dealers. So is Rolling Flame. Really good one for damage dealers. Bulwark Against the Elements is good, not only for defense in general, but also because there are certain cutscene skill challenge things that you can do in this game, and Bulwark Against the Elements comes up a couple of times. So it's a good one to have, especially if you have the White March DLC. Great spell to have. Take it, do it, wink wink, nudge nudge. Alright. Necrotic Lance, I love. It does damage instantly and over time, and it does a crap ton of damage. So it's a good one to take out people with low fortitude. Bewildering Spectacle causes confusion. Really fun one to do. I love messing with people's minds. Ray of Fire is like a continuous ray that burns a target and anyone caught in between you guys. So that one's kind of fun. Council Hot's Corrosive Siphon. Really good. All the Council Hot spells are really great for damage dealing wizards. Binding Web, awesome one. Leaves them hobbled, impairs movement. Pretty great. And Mirrored Image. This is you have this, you will use it all the time spell, basically. It's just good all the time. It's never not needed. Always cast it, do it. Level 3. Kalikoth's Minor Blights. I love this one. You just kind of do different little elemental blasts instead of your standard attack. It puts them in your hand and you're just like pew, 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 pew. It's kind of a fun one. Council Hot's Draining Touch. Another good Council Hot. Drain. He loves to drain life. Deleterious Alacrity of Motion. Increases your speed and movement while... Okay, so you sacrifice your endurance to give yourself increased speed and movement. It's risky. That's a risky one. I don't know if I would use it, but, you do you. Miletta's bounding missiles. I love this one. It just bounces to different targets and does damage. It's really fun. Rungrim's repulsive visage leaves people sickened and terrified. That's always a good time. Always a swell time. Ardos delay of motion. Foe AoE decreases attack speed and movement speed. Really great one. Just to get everyone to be slow. I love that one. We have some of my favorite ones coming up. Arcane Dampener I love. Creates a nullifying field of antagonistic magical energy, suppressing all beneficial effects on enemies. Really great if they've got like enemy casters or priests or anything like that. I love anti-magic magic. I think that's probably one of my favorite kinds of magic. Love it. Noxious Burst does corrosive damage and sickens people in an area. Arcane Dampener on there twice, of course. Fireball, we all know what Fireball does, right? Expose vulnerabilities. This one's awesome. It's a faux AoE. It's an AoE, which is great. And then decreases their damage reduction and deflection and concentration. All three. And just you can just go to town on people. This is a really nice spell to have. Really nice. Lengrath's Displaced Image gives you deflection and reflex. Deflection and reflex, which is cool. And then Crackling Bolt is just a lightning bolt, right? Level 4, Flame Shields. Engulfs a caster in fire, increasing their freeze damage reduction and causing burst damage to anyone who damages them with a melee attack. Pretty okay defensive ability. I think it's better if you're a melee wizard. I think that spell is great. If you're always out of the way, I don't see the point in using it. Dimensional Shift allows you to swap with someone, which is cool. You swap positions. Confusion is just a step up from the Bewilderment spell. Minor Grimoire Imprint. This one's cool. You can target a enemy spellcaster and gain access to one free spell from the target wizard's grimoire. And so a spell level of 3rd or lower that's not currently in your grimoire, you can steal it and then also cast it. That's kind of cool. I like that one. Iron Skin, always nice. Good damage reduction bonus. Minor Arcane Reflection is always good. Hostile targeted spells up to 3rd level to be reflected back to their casters. Up to a total of 10 spells. 10 spell levels. Okay, so you could like reflect 3 3rd levels or 5 2 levels or 10 1st level spells. That's a really nice one. You've got Metalletta's Concussive Missiles. Just more missile pounding. Wall of Flame. Pretty self-explanatory. Essential Phantom. It summons like a ghostly double of you somewhere else. And it fights with its bare hands and does shock damage. And yeah, it's kind of cool to do. I like that one. Its damage still comes from your might though, so if you're not a damage wizard, it's not going to do a good job. Level 5, Torrent of Flame. You just kind of flame burst around you. Bale of Frost, a Blast of Frost. You just ice in front of you. Archimede's Wondrous Torment decreases resolve and intellect. Really nice one. Call to Slumber. Fantastic spell. Just make them all fall asleep, fall prone, go to town on them. This one is really great, and there are some really low will enemies in this game where you can just go to sleep. Goodbye. Spirit Lance is a Spirit Lance that you summon into your hand and you do damage with it. So cool for melee wizards. Lengrath Safeguard, also really great for melee wizards. Really great for melee wizards. You get deflection, fortitude, reflex, will, and damage reduction. Oh, it's amazing. It's when you hit 50% endurance, you immediately knock all enemies prone that are close to you, and then gain all of those bonuses. Really nice. Rengrim's Enervating Terror, just a bigger version of the last Rengrim spell. Wall of Force, this one's cool. Anyone that walks through it takes damage and becomes hobbled. You know, crush damage is cool, but like, even if you're not a damage wizard, hobbling everyone's really nice. Malignant Cloud deals raw damage to everyone, raw poisonous damage. And you've got Nanagoth's Bitter Mooring. It does freeze damage and causes people to become stuck. So like this one's, even if you're not a melee wizard or not a damage wizard, regardless of the damage, you make people stuck, which is always useful. Level 6, Arcane Reflection. This is just like the other one, except up to a total of 15 spell levels, and it can do up to 5th level spells. So, nice. Sitzel's Martial Power. This is kind of like, if you've ever played like D&D or Pathfinder, it's like transformation. You just make yourself into a melee master, essentially, which is cool. Death Ring is always good. Corrosive damage, raw damage. That's a lot of raw damage. Potentially destroying those with low endurance. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Freezing Pillar hobbles everybody, which is cool. Chain Lightning, we all know what that does. Archimere's Capricious Hex is a fantastic one. Dazes, sickens, and paralyzes. Or paralyzes. They become dazed, sickened, or paralyzed. So it's always good when you get that paralyzed. When you get that paralyzed in there, but any of those is a good effect. Minneletta's Precisely Piercing Burst, just more force. Gaze of Adragan, just petrifies people. I love that one. I always use this one if I can. Just petrify everybody. Okay. That's all in the base game. Now, White March. Here we go. We're gonna look for our first. We're gonna look for White March 1 spells. All right. And we're gonna take those and kind of go over what those are. Those are White March 2, White March 2, White March 1, White March 1, White March 2, boom, boom. Lots of spells added. Lots of spells added. Boom, boom. Boom. These are all 2. Yeah. Okay. Woo. You've got Cancelhot's Draining Missiles. All right. It casts 3 projectiles, and they all drain damage for health. It's a unique one. So some of these are unique spells, and they're unique because they're in specific grimoires. So you find them from specific grimoires. You can't just learn them on your own, for some of them. So like these are all optional, so you're fine. But like that one's unique, so it's only in his grimoire. You've got Ningoth's Death Ray, which applies raw damage over time, and anyone else caught in the beam as well. And that's a unique one. Ningoth's Shadow Flame. This one's awesome. It does freeze damage and paralyzes people in an AoE. Also unique. Cancelot's Crushing Doom. Fantastic spell. It does a good amount of damage for Crush, and it also knocks people prone. And it attacks the target 5 times. And that's a unique spell found in his grimoire as well. Really fun spell, though. Really fun spell. Delayed Fireball is just an added spell. It does damage, but it detonates after 6 seconds, so you kind of have people time to move out of the way. Ningoth's Killing Bolt. is a really good one. It just does straight raw damage, and all non-spirit enemies killed by this spell will summon a caster-controlled specter. So if you kill someone that's not a spirit, you will then summon a specter that fights for you, which is really cool. Fun one there. Tane's Chaotic Orb. I love this spell. It can do a number of things to it. Petrify, Paralyze, Weaken, Sicken, Stunned, Blinded. One of the two. And it jumps to like 5 different targets. So that's really cool. So you're applying one of those effects to each of the targets, which is awesome. Wall of Draining. Anyone that walks by or walks on it or walks through it, it drains the duration of any beneficial effect currently on that target. So that's a really cool spell. If you just have to use it like in a tricky way. So those are White March 1. A lot of spells, right? A lot of spells. Now we're gonna take a look at White March 2. White March 2. Make sure I don't miss it. I think that's where we start. Okay. Here we are. Unique. Best spell in the game. Get all the White March 2. Also really good spell. There's so many spells, guys, it's crazy. And these are all freaking... Oh no! Alright. So many spells. Yikes. Okay, here we go. Lingrath's Mental Shields. Prevents charmed, terrified, stunned, frightened, dominated, distracted, dazed, and confused. And it negates 2 of those, and you can only get this from a specific grimoire. Physical Shields. Prevents blinded, weakened, stuck, sickened, prone, petrified, paralyzed, hobbled twice, and also unique from a grimoire. Mora's Writhing Tentacles is a awesome spell that you should take no matter what kind of wizard you are. It summons 3 tentacles that then attack people for you. It's so much fun. It's so awesome to use. I love this spell. Summoning Tentacles. Pull of Aora decreases movement speed and pulls enemies in. Form of the Helpless Beast. It's kind of like Baleful Polymorph, just turns them into like a useless like pig or whatever, and you can attack them really quickly. Lingrath's Blunt Wisdom, also from a specific grimoire, and it summons a weapon, some sort of staff, blunt staff thing that you use to fight people with. Siphoning Image, also Lingrath's unique spell. Character sitting caster take raw damage, and then the caster gains deflection, reflex, and incoming hits converted to grazes. So that's cool. Another Lingrath grimoire spell, Warding Staff. Summons a warding staff and it like pushes people away, which is cool. Kiedibald's Black Bow. It summons a special crossbow. So another good one for damage dudes. Calicoth's Freezing Rake does weakens and hobbles them and does freeze damage. So that can be really powerful. I wouldn't use that in White March if I were you, because everyone there, ice damage is nothing to them. So don't use that in White March. Dread Haze Foe AoE, health and endurance concealed for 20 seconds, and sickened. Oof. Yikes. Lengrath's superior elemental bulwark. So it's like the other one, but better, right? We have Major Grimoire Imprint. Steals 3 spells of 7th level or lower. That's awesome. That's a really cool spell. Minnaletta's Piercing Sigil. You summon a sigil around you, and anyone that hits you takes pierce damage and gets pushed and then possibly stunned. Wall of Many Colors. They go through and get affected by one of the colors, which do burn, corrode, shock, rob, petrifies, dominates, or paralyzes. So, good one there. And Wilting Wind, which does raw damage and weakens them. The point of raw damage in this game is that raw damage is like not resisted, right? So you can resist fire, you might have freeze damage reduction, but like raw damage just goes past any of that, and it's just raw damage into you that you can't really do anything about. So, but yeah, that's the wizard. So a lot of the spells are cool. I enjoy a lot of them. I just don't care for the, like, I don't know. It just it seems like there's a lot of spells, but it also feels very limited. I feel like games like Pathfinder and D&D, you have so much more spells so many more spells at your disposal. You can really get into it, and this one just feels like, I don't know, you're kind of a wizard. I don't know. But the spells do some powerful stuff. So maybe that's the trade-off. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't really love it, but yeah. That's the wizard. This finishes off the classes for Pillars of Eternity 1. We will get to Pillars of Eternity 2 at some point. I think that I want to wait until we end up doing a playthrough of these games and kind of put those out at the same time, especially since I have more Pathfinder guides coming up to do. So yeah, I hope this was helpful to you. Whether you're new to this game, new to my channel, you've played this game, you've been to my channel, I hope this was helpful, useful, made you decide if you want to be a wizard or not, kind of gave you an idea of what spells to use if you're a damage wizard, what spells to use if you're a crowd control wizard, that kind of thing. And yeah, I hope you guys, whenever you're watching this, have an awesome rest of your day, or hopefully your day went well if you're watching it later. Thank you for stopping by, and I'm UnsungNPC, and I will catch you guys in the next one.